All right, hello and welcome. My name is Dylan Anderson. This is going to be my AWD1115 final project. This is pokemetrics, and it is a trading card inventory and sales analytics application built with ASP.NET Core MVC. Um, the purpose and the reason behind this application, I could have built a website for hundreds of different businesses. But in the TCG space right now, there's a lot of businesses popping up, um, even around the St. Louis area, but nationwide especially. And just from visiting and stuff like that, and seeing how almost poorly that their inventory systems are ran, this would be almost a perfect implementation for management services, a CRM, a inventory service. You got customers, orders, everything under one basket. Instead of relying on, I've even seen Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. Um, so keeping everything manageable, nice, neat, organized. I think that's huge in that space right now, especially with where that space can go. Those businesses need routes to expand and see profit margins and know what's selling well and know what's not selling well and know what's sitting on the shelves for too long and stuff like that. So this is designed to kind of help with inventory management and stuff along those lines. Um, so when you have the home, when you come to the website, you're introduced with a homepage. You really all you can do without creating an account or signing in. You can see if I hit customers, it wants me to sign in. If I hit orders, it wants me to sign in. If I hit inventory, so really you've got just your home view and card search. So if you just wanted to use this as a basic card platform like Collector or TCG or something like that, um, we could use it as such. If I type in Gengar, it's going to pull up 15 different Gengars of the top sets. Now, in the future, I would like to do some sort of analytics here as far as like market price stuff like that. But that's more for orders and what have you. So I will log in as an admin. So this will not be as a normal user, but as an admin. So as a store manager, something like that. This is how this view would be. If you're logged in somewhere else or as a just a normal user, employee, something along those lines, you're not going to see this administration tab. You're just going to see orders, customers, card search, all that stuff. So all this down here is going to be for the admin specific only. Um, so yeah, we did log in. So let's show the dashboard. This is pretty cool. As far as a business CRUD application. It took me a little bit to kind of divvy through all this, but unrealized gain, you've got cost basis, inventory value, cards in your inventory, cards sold, customers, average order value, everything under the sun in here that you could possibly think of. I put it in here. Um, Card search. We already went to card search. Let's do customers. So if I create a first customer, let's just go to add customer. Let's do guest customer, guest email at email.com 123456790. Save customer. That is going to generate our customer. We can view the customer, lifetime sales, total orders, We can edit the customer. If you need to change information, you can delete. But we won't delete that now. So let's go to orders. Let's go to add new order. Let's go to select customer, guest customer. This customer wants the Houndoom Hollow. Save order. Boom, transaction ledger. We're going to get that shipped out. That is a completed order. If it's getting shipped out, if it's sold in store, we're getting that off of our inventory. So that will successfully create that order, and you can go in and delete that out of the inventory. So the admin identity. Pokemetrics implements roles based on authorization. So users assigned to the admin role receive access as admin, as an admin to the admin area that normal users cannot see. So kind of like I was explaining earlier, as a normal user, you're not going to see this admin section over here, but for for store owners, stuff like that, they are going to see this. You can add a role. If you had, let's just say, if you had a custodian and you wanted the custodian in the shop to add, you could add a custodian role. You could add whatever, managers, whoever. You also got an add card from the admin section, so the admin is able to add cards. Say Charizard base set. Say we brought that in at near met $900. Oh, let's say we paid $550. Market price is $900. Add to inventory. We're gonna see that pop up right here. Your gain loss. We got a 63% ROI. That looks pretty good. So yeah, it's just a basic basic CRM for hobby shops and stuff like that to keep their inventory managed instead of using Control F inside of an Excel sheet. So let's get into a little bit of the code here. I don't want to get into too much. Let's start with card controller here. So the application follows MVC architecture controller. Architecture controllers handle HTTP requests, while business logic and data access responsibilities separated into additional layers. So if we look at our index string here, we've got our if statements. We've also got our add, our edit. So rather than placing all the database logic directly inside the controller, card operations are handled through the service layer. Let's go to here is my card service .cs, and in here the application implements repository and service layers to separate business logic and data to access from the MVC controllers. So for example, the card service handles operations such as retrieving searchable cards and lists, and adding, updating, and deleting cards. So that's pretty much the reason for this whole page. We'll get into some fluent validation. Card validator. Um, so model validation is implemented using fluid validation. Um, Card validation checks. Um, it checks the required fields that are valid for card conditions and appropriate price ranges. So if we put in a card that's going to be, LP, near mint, stuff like that, we want to have the appropriate conditions labeled here. So if it meets those requirements and stuff like that, then we're going to go ahead and send it through. So then the duplicate check right here, it's going to check for duplicates, names with the same card, set number, stuff like that, and give you an option instead of creating the new card, adding the quantity and changing the quantity and saying you already have a card with this set name, set condition, stuff like that. Let's look at the ERD here. Oopsies. Uh-oh. Oopsies. I don't think this is gonna like how I'm doing this, but it's gonna have to work because I don't have time to go back and edit any of this. All right. So if I was able to, I don't know why it wants to open like this. This is crazy. But I did make a good one if I was able to open this in a PDF real quick. It is good, I promise. But it shows you the functionality of what I went through: order card, and then card. So one of the required database relationships is a many-to-many relationships in pokemetrics. Orders and cards have many-to-many relationships, implementing using order card, junction, and table. So order card stores the order ID, card ID, quantity, and sale price with the associated of each transaction. Showing a many-to-many relationship. Session state. If we go back to the if we go back to here, I sign out. I click sign in. I go back to card search. Well, I guess the sign in is one of those that session state with the saving your login. It'll just allow me to log right back in. What I was hoping to happen is when I typed in Gengar, that the drop down search showed that I previously already typed in Gengar. You'll see I'm pulling this from an API table, so sometimes if it doesn't hit the first search, it'll hit you with that is one of those things that I'm gonna have to change in the future. But yeah, so kind of going through this of what I learned, the largest challenge during development was deploying the completed application for me to Azure. I've done deployments before. This was by far the one I struggled the most with. The application itself deployed successfully.